Good evening to one and all. Welcome you all to the Daily Indian Express newspaper analysis for the date 19th October 2023, brought to you by Ganesh IS Academy. Okay, let's get into the today's newspaper analysis. So these are all the articles which we are going to have analysis in the upcoming slides. Have a look at it. Okay, let's get into the today's newspaper analysis. The first news is severe spell of drought in Amazon. What are its causes, impact, and the warning signs? So the news is related to the recent drought that has happened in Amazon, and it is continuing right now, and it is one of the severe drought since 2021. The 2021 drought in Amazon is the severest drought ever recorded in the last 90 years. And the recent drought is more severe than the 2021 drought. That is the reason why an article related to it came in this newspaper. Amazon is facing a drought since 2021. As I said, this 2021 is the most severe drought, and the drought could be the additional reason for already destructed the rainforest, that is the Amazon forest, and this drought is creating certain negative impact to the biodiversity and also to the people, those who are living in those region and whose livelihood is dependent on the healthy ecosystem of the rainforest. And what impacts does it create is, first and foremost, is the water level drops because of the drought, as a result of which the surrounding ecosystem as well as the biodiversity is are getting very dried, as a result of which it is leading to wildfires, frequent wildfires. Secondly, because of lack of water in the river, it is leading to death of certain big as well as small fishes, which in turn is leading to the place is turning into a graveyard of fishes. That is, we could able to see more number of carcasses of fishes, which in turn contaminates the fresh water which is being used for household purpose by the people, those who are living in the surrounding areas of the rivers which is present in the Amazon rainforest. Thirdly, the Brazil is transforming its country from a fossil fuel based economy to the non-fossil fuel based economy, in that after the solar power, the hydropower is one of the major important power producer. So because of the drought condition, there is less amount of rain, which in turn is leading to lesser storage in the reservoirs, so that it is leading to stalling of the major hydropower projects. And then finally, because of lack of water, it has led to limited access to the clean drinking water and then food production. These are all the negative impacts the drought is creating in the region. And what is the causes? What is the reason why the drought has happened in the Amazon forest right now? Is because of the onset of the El Nino in the equatorial Pacific region. Second is the unusual high temperature in the northern Atlantic Ocean is leading to deformation of the clouds, because if there is clouds only means there will be rain. So because of unusual extreme high temperature, it is leading to deformation of cloud. Why? Because why the excess heat leads to lack of the cloud is because of heating, the air gets evaporate and it will rise. The air will get expanded, as a result of which the air will have enormous capacity to hold the water. And if it is getting condensed only, that is, condensation is the point where the air could not able to withstand the excess amount of water. So because of extreme heat, the air gets expanded and it has huge number of capacity to hold the water, the cloud is not getting formed, as a result of which the rain is not precipitating in the region which is usually it should occur. So these are all the two causes which is responsible for the droughts in Amazon rainforest. And what is the warning the scientific communities are giving in relation to the drought is, the current state of fossil burning across the world, more importantly in the South American continent, it will create a drought-like condition in every 9 out of 10 years by 2060. And then the Amazon is becoming very slow in recovering from the negative impact of the drought, and it is in the path of reaching a tipping point where the entire Amazon region will be converting itself into a savanna type forest. So these are all the alarming signs being given by the scientific community with regard to the drought. So how the news is being related to this civil service examination is, under prelims it is related to general issues of environment ecology. Similarly, under mains it is related to GS paper 3 environment, that is conservation, environmental evolution, degradation and environmental impact assessment. Okay, let's have a look into the details in relation to the Amazon rainforest. It is the world's largest tropical rainforest and it occupies nearly 1/5 of the world land species, and it is home to nearly 400 Amerindian tribes, and it is the source of nearly 20% oxygen of the overall oxygen being supplied across the earth. And it has, the Amazon region will be seeing nearly 200 centimeter rainfall per year because of the tropical rainforest type climate and the vegetation and its related climate, and it acts as the lungs of the planet. The healthy Amazon rainforest will be leading to healthy lifestyle, health and well-being of the entire planet, Earth, that is Earth. So what is the significance the Amazon rainforest holds is, first and foremost is, it is rich in biodiversity. World's most number of floras and faunas living in those regions. Secondly, it has high precipitation because of the type of the vegetation it has, and it is the huge, it acts as major source for the carbon sink, which is very important for our effort towards reducing the climate related incidents. And fourthly, it has some local benefit, that is the vegetation as well as the flora and fauna that is present in the Amazon rainforest enables the enhancement of livelihood of the local people, those who are present across the region. And then it has some medicinal as well as food security related advantages. So these are all the things the Amazon rainforest produces, or the Amazon rainforest has this kind of the significance. So what concerns is, because of the rapid climate change, we could able to see that the drought like condition is happening recurrently, and the frequency has now increased, as a result of which, as I said, the Amazon forest is in the direction of reaching a tipping point where the entire rainforest ecosystem will be converting itself into the savanna type forest. Then it will have huge negative impact not only in Brazil but also across the world, and it is facing frequent forest fire because of the excess drought and the dryness it produces. The trees as well as the vegetation are more vulnerable to the fires, and then poaching, commercial farmings as well as the biopiracy are the major events that is threatening the forest. Healthy, and then unplanned development is also one of the major concerns for the Amazon rainforest. So what need to be studied further is, we should know about what are all the different types of climate apart from the tropical evergreen type of climate, which is the Amazon rainforest is based on. And secondly, we should also know about what are all the 4 types of services being produced by the ecosystem naturally. Fourthly, we should also know about the entire geographical location of the South American continent. So these are all the other areas which we need to be aware of, and these are the important analysis in relation to the Amazon rainforest and the drought which is happening right now. And then Millennium Port, the latest row over the mega project. See, the project actually got introduced during 2015, and it is being implemented by Adani Ports as well as CES Private Limited. What they have said is that within 1000 days, that is from 2015, within 1000 days they will be implementing the Vilnius port, but the actual implementation got delayed because of the lack of availability of the resources, and then pandemic related lockdown problems. These are the things which has delayed the execution of the project. But now the successful the project got completed, and first transshipment based operation has begun now. So the political parties are fighting against each other, claiming that they are the first to bring those port in the state. So this is what the this is the reason why the news came in today's editorial news analysis. And we will look into what does the Vilnius port is about. And the Vilnius port is the first international deep water transshipment port, and it has the natural depth of nearly 18 meters, which could be scalable to 20 meters, and it has some strategic importance. Why? Because of our lack of transshipment port in India, China, we are using Colombo port as well as the Singapore based port and then Malaysia based port for our transshipment requirement, which was clearly exploited by the Chinese. The Chinese are using the Sri Lankan Hambantota port to Sri Lankan's Hambantota port to oppose the usage of the transshipment port by India in Sri Lanka. So if we are having our own transshipment port, means we does not want to depend on Sri Lanka and the Singapore and the Malaysian countries. And India has nearly 13 major ports, and it lacks ports that deals with large containers, as I said, the transshipment ports. And nearly 75% of our Indian transshipment requirement, see, as I said, are met through this kind of ports, Sri Lankan, Singapore and Klang ports. And the benefit the Vilnius port will bring, that is the transshipment port will bring to our country, is first and foremost is the forex earning. Because of our servicing to the other international carriers, it will lead to inflow of more number of forex, and it will be leading to the port-led development, which in turn will have huge positive impact in the inflow of foreign direct investment. And then the development of related infrastructures, the port related infrastructures will also get enhanced, and then which in turn will be leading to increase in employment and increase in revenue, like in the case of tax revenue to the government. So these are all the benefit and the details in relation to the Vilnius port, which appeared in today's Indian Express newspaper. So how the news is related to the civil service examination is, under prelims it is related to economic and social development. Similarly, under mains it is related to infrastructure, port, roads, airport as well as railways, etc., which comes under GS paper 3, economic development. So let's have a look into the ports in India. See, India has a coastline of nearly 7,500 km, and it has 13 major ports and 200 minor ports, and the major ports are administered by central government and the minor ports are administered by state as well as the private parties. And this is what the map of our major port is. See, you could able to see the Kandla port in Gujarat, Mumbai port, Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust, and Marmagao port in Goa, New Mangalore port in Karnataka, Cochin port in Kerala, VOC port in Tamil Nadu, Chennai port as well as Ennur port in Chennai, and then Visakhapatnam port in Andhra, Paradip port in Odisha, and then Kolkata port. So these are all the major port. We could able to see that it is located in the sea coast of our long coastlines, and the port of Andaman and Nicobar Island. So these are all the major ports which India has, and right now it is developing the Vilnius port, which is the transshipment port. So significance the port brings to an economy is, first and foremost, it will be facilitating the international trade, and it acts as a gateway for Indian products to reach the outer world. Secondly, it will be leading to employment generations, and then which in turn will have huge positive impact in our economic growth, and it will be leading to revenue earning in the form of port due, berth hire charges, and then other kind of taxes being levied on the products which has been imported through the ports. So, and another important thing is it will be reducing our dependency in other countries, which in turn will reduce the outflow of the forex reserve from our country to the other country in the form of the port servicing, the ship servicing, which the other country takes because of our lacking in our own Indian ports. So this is what the significance the port brings to economy, most importantly to Indian economy. What problems the Indian port sector faces is, first and foremost, is the congestion because of lesser spaces and more number of products which needed to be exported and imported. The ports in India is facing a challenge of congestion, which is leading to a turnaround time of nearly 60 hours for one ship. Secondly, lack of port infrastructure and the port related infrastructure is also act as one of the challenges. Thirdly, the delay in land acquisition is leading to delay in the construction of the port. Fourthly, fragmented policy regulation. See, the state as well as the central government are involved in the policy making in relation to the port because of the multiple stakeholders being involved in it, and the private players are also involved in it. And the policy regulation suffers because of fragmentation. And then fourthly, poor interland connectivity. See, even if you are building the port, we should have some good infrastructure in terms of road, railways, and air connectivity to reach our hinterland, so that the product will be reaching the last mile of our country. And fourthly, lack of technological adaptation in the port infrastructure is also a major challenge for the Indian port sectors. So what needed to be done to overcome the challenge is that, first and foremost, is there need to be rigorous expansion of the capacity. Not only expanding the size of the existing port, there is a need for building of new ports also. Secondly, there need to be automation as well as digitization of the port. Thirdly, there need to be improved connectivity with the port as well as the hinterland through the means of roadways, railways, as well as air connectivity, and through the means of the inland waterway connectivity also, and then streamlining the land acquisition, which in turn will fasten the port related infrastructure construction and the port construction itself. So what need to be studied further is, we should know about what is Bharatamala project and then Sagarmala project, which our government of India is implementing to enhance the port related infrastructure, which in turn will make India a port led development economy. Thirdly, we should also know about the entire geographical aspect of India. So these are all the analysis in relation to the Vizhinjam ports. Festive bonus. What does cabinet dearness allowance hike mean for central government staff? See, recently our union cabinet raised the 4% of dearness allowance as well as dearness relief for central government employees as well as pensioners, and it will be leading to extra outgo of 12,587 crore from the exchequer. And the hike is in the line of the 7th pay commission recommendation, and DA is calculated based upon the consumer price index industrial worker, which is being released by Bureau of Labor each month. And why the DA has been announced by government is to facilitate the government employees to lead a good standard of life against the rising cost of living as well as the rising price rise. That is the inflation. Okay. How the news is related to civil service examination is, under prelims, the news is related to economic as well as social development. Similarly, under mains, it is related to Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resource, growth, development and employment. Okay, let's have a look into the consumer price index, the industrial workers. It is being released by Labor Bureau under Ministry of Labor, and it is released every month, and it has a base year of 2016. See, this is the product based on which the consumer price index, industrial labor will be calculated. We could able to see that the food and beverage occupies the given the nearly 39.17% of weightage across the overall products that comes under the CPI IW, industrial workers. And secondly, more number of weightage is given to miscellaneous things. Thirdly, more number of weightage is given to housing, and then clothing and footwear, and then fuel and light, and then finally tobaccos and other intoxicant products. So basically, food and beverage are given high importance, high weightage in the consumer price index, industrial workers. So what does the Labor Bureau is? The Labor Bureau is an organization established during British period itself, during 1920, and it is an attached office of Ministry of Labor and Employment, and it is the source of economic indicators like the consumer price index, industrial labor, consumer price index, agricultural labor, consumer price index of rural labor, as well as the wage rate indices, and then wages, absenteeism, and then industrial disputes, and then labor turnover and industrial relations. So these kind of data has been collected by labor bureaus, which is very important from the perspective of prelims. And it has 5 types of function. First and foremost is the labor intelligence. Under labor intelligence, they will be collecting the data in relation to these things: the consumer price index, industrial worker, the agricultural laborer, the rural laborer, and the industrial relation thing, and then industrial dispute related data. And these kind of data will be collected, evaluated, as well as monitored by the Labor Bureau. Secondly, the labor research. They will be conducting surveys as well as research in terms of the labor related problem, and the most important and the caste dimension of the labor related problem and the gender dimension of the labor related problems will be researched, surveyed by the labor bureaus, and the related data will also be collected, compiled by the labor bureaus. Thirdly, it will be doing the monitoring as well as evaluation function. That is, they will be monitoring the CPI IW situation, CPI AL situation, and the economic indicator which they are calculating. They will be monitoring as well as evaluating the method which they are used for calculating these kind of indicators, and they will be calculating whether the outcome which they are estimating is correct or not. This kind of the monitoring as well as evaluation function will be done by them. Fourthly, they will be regularly publishing the monthly data of the consumer price index and the yearly release of the statistics of the overall economic indicators which I have mentioned here. So this kind of regular publications will also be done by them. And then finally, they will be providing the training for those people who are involved in collecting, compiling, monitoring, evaluation, and doing surveys, researches, so on and so forth. So these are all the details in relation to the Labor Bureau. Okay, what needed to be studied further is we should know about what are all the different types of labor acts, and we should know about the important provision of it. Secondly, we should know about the structure, function, as well as the implementing prospect of EPFO. Fourthly, we should also know about what is inflation, what are the different types of inflation, and what impacts does it create on the different stakeholders of the economy. It will have some positive impact on certain section of people, it will have a negative impact on certain section of people. Which section of people are benefited from the inflation, which section of people benefited from the got affected by, negatively affected by the inflation, we should be aware of it. So this is what the analysis in relation to the dearness allowance hike is about. Why Supreme Court orders on telecom license fees as industries worried? See, the Supreme Court said that the payment made by the telecommunication companies in the form of entry fees as well as the license fees will hereafter be calculated in the form of capital expenditure. Before this judgment, the telecommunication company are calculating this fees in the name of revenue expenditure, that is the immediate payment, so that they are detecting the huge amount of money from the taxation. But what Supreme Court has said in the recent judgment is that hereafter these fees will be calculated as capital expenditure, so that the companies hereafter will be paying tax in relation to the amount which they are spending in these fees as capital expenditure. The certain percentage of the capital expenditure of the amount which they are spending in the fees. So what they have said is that they are going to have a review petition in the recent judgment. This is what the thing is that, and there is some dilemma whether the taxation will be made retrospectively or not. This kind of dilemma is there across the telecommunication company, which will be cleared after the review petition which they are going to make in the Supreme Court once again. How the news is related to civil service examination is, under prelims it is related to economic and social development. Similarly, under mains it comes under GS paper 3, economic development, Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resource, growth, development and employment. Okay, let's have a look into the capital expenditure. What does the capital expenditure is? The capital expenditure is nothing but the expenditure made by a state or private, any other individual or an organization which has the capability to create an asset or reduce the liability. If it is happening means, then it is called as, if either of these two is happening means, then it is called as capital expenditure. Secondly, the capital expenditure has the potential to earn a revenue periodically, which is not the case with revenue expenditure, and it is the major difference between the capital expenditure as well as the revenue expenditure. What significance the capital expenditure brings to an Indian economy, and most importantly the Indian economy, is the first and foremost is it has multiplier effect. The multiplier effect means the capital expenditure, if you are investing in the goods producing machines means, then it will have a multiplier effect in the terms of efficiency in the production of goods, which in turn will enhance the labor efficiencies, so that the efficiency of process will get enhanced, the labor efficiency will get enhanced, as a result of which the company's overall company's efficiency, the organization's efficiency will get enhanced. And as I said, it will have a major positive impact in terms of labor productivity, and it will act as tool for counter-cyclic policy. And fourthly, the basic capital related the capital investment capital expenditure need to be made by government, like in the case of building roadways, railways, and then port, this kind of the basic infrastructure, and then electrical infrastructure, this kind of basic infrastructure need to be made by the government. So after building such kind of basic infrastructure, it will act as pull factor for the private investment. So that is the reason why capital expenditure will have potential to attract the investment from private sectors, and then it will in turn will be leading to overall economic growth of the country. What challenges the capital expenditure has is, first and foremost is the time lag effect. What is this time lag effect? Is if you are investing a certain amount of money today means, the result will be seen only after a decade or more than a decade. Sometimes it will take some more than a decade. Not that it will, if you are investing today and we will be seeing the result tomorrow. It is not like that. It will have some time lag effect. It will take some decade to see the fruitness of the expenditure which we are making today. Secondly, it has potential to create inflation in the economy. Thirdly, if capital expenditure need to be made by a government means, it will be facing some delay in the implementation because of the bureaucratic hurdles. So these are all the challenges the capital expenditure faces right now. So what impacts of this decision on telecommunication company will have is, first and foremost is it will change the accounting system of the organization, which will be more time effect. It will have huge cost in terms of time as well as labor as well as the economic cost. Secondly, it will increase the tax outgo from the telecommunication companies. Thirdly, it will increase the compliance cost of the companies, which in turn will reduce the ease of doing business. And that is the impact which is going to create, which it is going to create on the telecommunication companies. What need to be studied further is, we should know about revenue, what is revenue receipts as well as revenue expenditure. Secondly, we should know about what is current account deficit. Thirdly, we should know about what is fiscal deficit, and then balance of payment, and then forex reserve and the foreign direct investment. These are all the other areas which we need to be aware of. Okay, let's have a look into today's practice prelims question. So this is the today's practice prelims question. I want those students, those who are watching this session online, please do comment the option point for the question which you are seeing right now on the board. Okay, with this, we have reached the end of today's session. Thank you.